video production department. So, sir, you can start the lecture.
Okay. Thank you for the kind introduction. Let me share my screen here.
Oh, kindly welcome, sir. Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, well, thank you for the kind introduction. Can you see my screen okay? Does this look good?
Yes, sir. It is
Okay,
looking
great.
fine. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Okay, well, thank you for the kind introduction. So, as you said, I'm the director of editorial here at JoVE. And for those of you who aren't aware, JoVE is a PubMed indexed video methods journal. So today I'll be telling you about the publication process at JoVE. The presentation will be about 25-30 minutes, and then we can do a Q&A session at the end. So hold your questions to the end, and we can address all of those. Okay, well, let me get started. Okay, so the outline is we'll talk about a brief history of JoVE, the benefits of publishing in JoVE, and then the Q&A, as I mentioned. Okay, so this is Moshe, our CEO, who founded the company in 2006. Oops. Okay, and the reason Moshe founded the company, and this is, I think, probably relevant to a lot of scientists. So he was doing his postdoc in the US in New Jersey, and he needed to train on a particular biochemical technique, which was in Scotland. Um, I'm sure this was a beautiful trip, but it did cost him 2 months, and it did cost the lab a lot of money to train on this technique. And so this is the time when Moshe got the idea, why not produce a video of the method or the technique? And then you can just share that video with your colleagues, save a lot of time, save a lot of effort, and perhaps most importantly, save finances. And another big part of his desire to make this company is the reproducibility crisis. So as many of you are aware, there's a big reproducibility crisis throughout science, not just the life sciences. So a big part of his motivation for making this company is to address the reproducibility crisis by creating these videos. Other scientists can recreate the method and hence the data that comes from that method. Okay, and this reproducibility crisis, a big part of it is that scientists rely on reading a text manuscript in order to recreate a method, which is not ideal. There's a lot of um, details that don't go into that text, and I will give you some examples here. Okay, so this is just one example. So this is a C. elegans dissection, and over here you have the text from the original text article. And you can see that this is fine. Disrupt the blood-brain barrier, manually transecting the CNS. This isn't very detailed in order to replicate it, So this is some stills of a JoVE video, which is describing the same technique. And you can see that there's a lot of spatial information in here, especially that's not conveyed well in the text. It just says manually transecting, but what are the angles? What is the approach that your hands come in at? Do you use both hands at the same time? What are the lighting settings? What kind of forceps are you using? How far do you open the posterior CNS? There's a lot of information conveyed in the video that's not present in the text article, and is particularly evident with surgeries, because there is so much spatial information there as well. Okay, so I mentioned some of these benefits already. So mentioned the reproducibility crisis. There's also training colleagues in your lab. So many times you'll have, for instance, a postdoc who's an expert in a specific technique. They may be leaving the lab, and you don't want that knowledge to leave the lab with them. So many scientists will produce a JoVE video and then use it for training within their lab so they can retain that knowledge. It's also very important for grant renewals. So many times grant renewals have a section for demonstrating reproducibility and proving that your experiment can be replicated by others. Many scientists will create a JoVE video and then mention it in their grant proposals as a way to help with the reproduction. And last but not least is increasing your visibility in the community. So once a JoVE video is published, you can share that with your colleagues for any academic reasons. People use it at conferences quite often as well, especially if they have a novel technique which they want to share with others at a conference. And you're welcome to share it on social media. So it does give your research a lot of exposure in the community. Okay, so I'll move to the actual details of the journal and what kind of things we publish. So as I said, Moshe started the company in 2006, and he is a life scientist. So in the beginning, most of the sections are life science. So we have 13 different sections. It started off with mostly biology, developmental biology, genetics, neuroscience. We've since expanded into some of the physical sciences as well. We have chemistry, engineering section, applied physics, environmental sciences. So we do have a very broad array of topics. And there's various kinds of methods we publish. Our focus is on novel methods. Obviously, those are the most crucial and the things that are the most helpful to people. However, we do also publish a lot of gold standard protocols, things that are well established. And many times these are the videos with the most views. And in a lot of cases, we have many different variations on them. So for example, if it's a very well-established technique like Western blot, we probably won't have a video on it just because it's so basic. But many other techniques will have, five or six different versions to ensure that there's something for everyone. Okay, and we do have an environmental science section. I don't know if it's relevant to microbiologists at this time, but I will just mention it because it may be relevant. I know there are some field microbiology studies. So this is a relatively new section, and we do a lot of filming different natural phenomenon techniques. Some of it is environmental chemistry. So this is a relatively new initiative that we have, and I just wanted to mention that briefly. Also in silico work, there's, as you know, there's a big increase in AI, machine learning, in silico work in general. We can create videos on this, and what we would do, we would first start with an interview of the scientist, and then we can do screen captures, sorry, of their workflow on their computer. Excuse me. Okay, so this brings us to the publication process itself. And there's two parts to a JoVE article. So I think most people are aware of the video component. So this is the primary part of the publication. But there is also a text manuscript which goes along with the video, and they're both indexed in PubMed. Okay, so this is the big picture overview of the publication process. So I'll mention this briefly and then go into details for each step. So we reach out to scientists, talk to them about the publication process, help them write the manuscript. So it's a very it's similar to any other methodology paper, like a Nature Methods paper. They would submit the manuscript, we would peer review it. If it's accepted, then our team of PhD science writers would write a video script based on this text manuscript. We would travel out to the person's location, do the filming, and then edit everything, edit all the footage together, add professional voiceovers, and that would be the finished product, which would be indexed in PubMed. So let me go through each step briefly. So the first one is manuscript preparation. And as I mentioned, this is, you'll see here, it's just your standard sections that most papers have: summary, abstract, introduction. The one thing that's slightly different is the protocol section. So you can see here, oops, this is an example of the protocol section, a small portion of it. And you can see that it's arranged in an outline format. And this is slightly different than other journals. And the reason for having it this way is each of these steps will be converted into an element within the video. So we try to keep it organized this way, and it's, much easier to create the video that way. Okay, so that brings us to the next step, which is the peer review. And it's an external peer review, single blind. No, I don't really have much to say about this. It's a typical peer review process, just like any other journal. And authors can select reviewers, or we can select experts in the field for them. And yeah, pretty typical peer review though. Nothing out of the usual here. Once the manuscript is accepted, the manuscript would first be published and indexed in PubMed, visible on our website. And there'll be a message on there saying videos coming soon, so that will give us a few months to work with the authors, create the video. And that process usually takes about 2 months. However, it's almost all of that 2 months is on our side. So as far as the author's time concerns, the filming just takes place in a single day. So it's not very obtrusive. Okay, so the manuscript, once it's accepted, we have a team of PhD science writers. They would convert the text manuscript into a video script, and this will, lay out all the spoken words and all the actions as well that will be present in the video. Yeah, so here's a little photo of an example, and um, we do provide cue cards for authors. So that's a major concern. Sometimes authors are, they're not actors, so they're not used to memorizing lines and things like that. And that's not necessary. We provide them with cue cards, and they can have time to rehearse and go over through the cue cards. And the filming itself is usually about 6 to 8 hours. So it's a one day filming process. And it consists mostly of interviews, as you can see here, and then over the shoulder demonstrations of the technique. That's the primary, that's, I would say, 75% of the content. We do have the ability to film in many different situations. You can see here, it looks like they're just filming some kind of bench work, but we can also film surgeries. The videographers have equipment to film through the oculars of microscopes. We have experience filming in sterile environments, surgical environments. So we can film in most situations. And once that filming is done, the footage comes back to us and we will splice together all the footage and provide professional voiceovers. The authors can do the voiceovers themselves if they like, but many times people will choose to have JoVE do the voiceovers for them. And once the video is published, the authors, or once the video is ready, the authors would receive the final version and they can make any comments and make any suggested changes. We can do that. We can accommodate that. They would receive the HD copy of the video and they can share that. Once it's published, they're welcome to share that with any of their colleagues for any kind of academic reasons. And we are able to film throughout the world. So almost so six continents, every continent except for Antarctica. So if you're located in Antarctica, unfortunately, we don't have a team there. However, if you are filming in a remote area, there is the option for authors to produce the video themselves. So what I described is the typical method where JoVE produces the video for you. However, if you're in a remote location, or if you just prefer to produce the video yourself, if you're have a lot of experience with video production, that's an option as well. And in that case, we can help you create the video. We'll, provide you instructions for all the technical details of the video production. But in most cases, we will produce the video for them and we can travel almost everywhere. So I know your group is located in India. We can film almost at every location in India. We do have extensive videographer network there, and also many of our editors are located there. So anywhere in India is considered to be in network and a place that we can readily film. All right. Well, so that's the entire presentation. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to ask, happy to answer. So just let me know, and we can connect afterwards as well. If someone's interested in publishing, you can feel free to reach out to me by email or LinkedIn, and we can discuss anything further if you want to go into more detailed discussion. Yeah, and go ahead.
I see one question in the chat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the question is benefits of it over normal journal. What are the benefits over the normal journal?
Oh, I see the chat now. Sorry, I couldn't find it. Okay, benefits over normal journals. So the primary benefit is the video, and the amount of exposure that that video receives. So JoVE does have an impact factor, so the video is seen and cited, but in addition to that, there's viewership to consider. Much like a YouTube channel, many of our videos receive tens of thousands or even more views. So that, it's a way to really get a lot of exposure for your lab, your research. So that's really the primary benefit over a normal journal is the video component itself and what you can use it for. Like I said, the reproducibility is really the main benefit there. Okay, so hopefully that answered your question. So someone's asking about publication. Why are there so many charges for publication? Okay, so there's not multiple charges. It's just a single charge. So for authors in India, we have a slightly different publication fee in different countries. And for India, that's 5,000 US dollars, or sorry, 500 US dollars. I'm not sure what that is in rupees, but I'm sure we can convert that. Dara, do you know that offhand in rupees? I'm sorry, I know that. But it is 500 US dollars. And that is a one-time fee, so that covers the entire traveling to your location, producing the video. Okay.
Thank you for the questions. Do we have any more questions regarding the publication process or anything about JoVE?
Any question from audience?
Well, if
Hello?
if anyone thinks of questions later, you can feel free to reach out to me. If Dara, if you guys want to share my contact info with them, you're welcome to. And I, be happy to talk to anyone.
No any question from audience? Okay. Okay,
All right.
sir. First and foremost, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to our guest speaker, Dr. Ronald Mayer. Sir, your knowledge and experience have provided us with a wealth information about the publication process and post-production and inspiration. We, that is Microbiology Society of India, are truly honored to have had here. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind words, and hopefully everyone had a good experience. And if you
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. More always. We
excellent.
have a very great person experience with you.
Excellent. Well,
Okay. In
thanks
future, we
again.
also conduct more lectures, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay. Have a good day. Have a nice day, sir. It's a night to here in India. Good night, sir.
Good night. Yeah, it's morning here, so I'm on my coffee. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.